Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another installment of the Halls of Horror. I'm your host, True Crime Stories, and I'm joined by a very special guest, a good friend of mine who decided they wanted to bring this one up to me a couple weeks back. And I figured, why not? I think we're all in for a good mind fucking. So I'd love to introduce to you my good friend, Queen Anne's Revenge. How you doing tonight, man?
Good, very good. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, this is absolutely one of the most interesting subjects I've seen in a while.
So why don't we introduce that to everybody? Obviously, I've titled it Roko's Basilisk, but I don't think a lot of people are really familiar with what that is and what it entails. Um,
Um, well, I think the best place to start would be the history
exactly.
and maybe uh, general history. So, like, what is a basilisk exactly?
Uh, the basilisk is a mythical creature that if you see it, you are supposed to die after, or something bad is supposed to happen to you. Um,
Yes.
which obviously that's part of the name. And Roko goes back to the person who, in a way, proposed this thought experiment, um, which initially happened in 2010 on a blog called Less Wrong. And it's basically one of those, like, hoity toity theoretical argument websites. And it's based off of something called the decision theory. And it's basically kind of a study of principles and algorithms for making correct decisions or decisions that allow somebody to achieve a better outcome in respect to their goals. The core idea of this is expected utility maximization, or basically the best outcome of an action. That's what you're looking for. The agent will assign, or you, let's just say you assign utility to every possible outcome, and there's a real number representing the either goodness or desirability of the outcome. Now, Roko's Basilisk was posted by somebody named Roko on that board, and he kind of argued that a powerful AI agent could have an incentive to torture people who imagined him, but did not work to bringing him into existence or it into existence. Um, and they called it the basilisk because when you it's kind of like a taboo subject. When you hear the theory, you are in a put into a state of an existential crisis, which is why I put the trigger warning. Where
Yeah,
any info that harms or endangers somebody who hear it. So apparently, when you
yeah.
hear it, something bad's supposed to happen to you.
And just to add to that, basically what happened was it put a lot of people at distress, hence why they called it the basilisk, um, because of the sheer fact that a lot of people, a lot of the deep thinkers of the less wrong group, just couldn't fathom or think about. They didn't like being having like this weight on them.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why it was kind of rejected at first. And the owner of Less Wrong, Eliezer Yudkowsky, actually banned this theory because he believed it was an information hazard. But what happened was, after that, is that, like everything else on the internet, it spread on other blogs and other sort of websites that deal with this kind of thing, and it became more and more talked about, which brought validity to it, and then brought it back into the forefront.
Yeah, it even got all the way to Business Insider.
Yeah, it's one of those theories that is kind of underground, but is extremely you could say, daunting because of its reputation.
Yeah. It has a bad reputation of causing a lot of mental distress on both the theoretical front as well as the serious future of mankind. People
Yeah.
who want to, think about what the future holds for us.
Yeah. And I think we should kind of dig into what kind of makes this up. And there's two things that kind of bring this about if you want to talk about sort of information theory or however you want to call it, theoretical thinking. And that's Newcomb-like problems and normative uncertainty in moral philosophy. Now, the specific Newcomb problem in decision theory is the prisoner's dilemma, which is a thought process where you've got two options to make. And that's either you cooperate with something or you defect or fight against it. And initially, there's an equal preference to both, theologically. And here's a way of seeing it. This is the example that somebody brought up. We could imagine if both players in some sort of situation cooperate, they get $10. And if both of the players defect, they both get $1. But if one player defects and the other cooperates, the defector gets $15 and the cooperator gets nothing. It's a weird route that goes for the beneficial option over the rational option of cooperating in this case. And Roko's Basilisk takes this to an extreme in that it is a person and then a copy of themselves. So it's basically every outcome you can have as yourself. And you and the copy of yourself know they're going to make the same move, and that cooperating with whatever the entity is the better choice. However, there's something called casual decision theory, or CDT, that pushes for a mutual defection by assuming both players are independent, and the defection of the copy it goes with the defection of the copy, and you know it's gonna defect, so you defect with it. Or it's the opposite reaction, where you know that the copy of you is going to cooperate indefinitely, and then you do that in conjunction. The other kind of thought that comes with this are decision theories, the time decision theory. And this one is posed by Yudkowsky himself. And it plays that you have to both be using this particular method. And you gotta know that you're doing this. So it's an absolute, you're completely in on it, both sides.
Yeah, and that's...
Go ahead.
That's probably one of the reasons, because as you'll find out with the history of Roko's Basilisk, Yudkowsky is kind of a dick. And basically, Roko's Basilisk says "screw you" to his theory.
Yeah, and it goes with the last decision theory that I'm gonna go with, that Roko actually created with this, and it's called the Updateless decision theory. It's basically a mix of CDT and TDT, but the difference is that the agent or the thing that you are deciding to either cooperate with or defect from is a part of the world in which you make the decisions. So it becomes more grounded in that this is reality, and this actually could happen. And the second part of this that ties in to all of that which is the uncertainty of moral philosophy, is described as this: if artificially intelligent systems someday come to surpass humans in intelligence, how can we specify safe goals for them to autonomously carry out, and how can we gain high confidence in the agent's reasoning and decision making? Okay. And then there's a part that's called the coherent extrapolated volition, which is basically how can we specify these goals of the autonomous or AI system in the face of absolute human uncertainty and what we actually want to happen. And how can we specify these goals in a way that allows for moral progress over time? So it's this weird thought process of, oh, holy shit, this could actually happen. I should totally cooperate so I don't fucking die. But at the same time, is that really a good thing? Should I be trying to create an entity or artificial intelligence that can basically take over and destroy our own race?
Yeah, which is... Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Which is part of the thing that caused distress. And people actually tried to lower the distress. A lot of people brought up Pascal's Wager, which I imagine you'll go into a little more.
If you want to enlighten everybody on that, go right ahead.
Yeah. So Pascal's Wager was, well, made by Pascal. In his basic way of, I guess you could say, explaining why he didn't believe in God. And so it sort of goes in a chart of, well, you have two things that could happen. God is real and God is not real. And then you believe in God or you don't believe in God. Well, when you look at it, if God is real and you don't believe in him, you go to hell, obviously.
Yeah.
If God is not real and you don't believe in him, nothing happens. Whatever. If you believe in God and he's not real, well, shit, you just wasted your life. Or God is real and you believe in him, you go to heaven. Well, there are really, based on Pascal, he really says out of those four possibilities, only one of them is bad.
Yeah.
Which is that God is real and you didn't believe in him, so you go to hell.
Yeah.
Now, while people use that for Roko's Basilisk, some people have disproven it in a way of the complexity of it, of, well, God is already something that was invented.
Yeah.
And the Basilisk, the AI, is something that is yet to come. So you have to add a bunch of other factors in there for it to actually completely make sense, thus rendering Pascal's Wager utterly useless for the Basilisk.
Yeah. It's kind of this interesting situation.
Yeah, and there's a few other things, like people try, you basically see this trend of people trying to calm others down with some theories and basically failing. In my mind, they're all pretty bad. Like we were talking about this earlier about, like, going to the how to defeat Roko's Basilisk.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all pretty much the same, where it's that if you really want to defeat the Basilisk, then if it's something that's going to happen, which in my mind, it like if you think that it's going to happen in the future, then you just have to want to make it.
Yeah.
But in doing that, you leave others to torture, which is another moral dilemma.
Yeah. And I actually have pulled up a that exactly what you're talking about, the how to deal with the Basilisk argument. Um and this is kind of an interesting way of looking at how the debate goes among people. For example, somebody posts about this, and then in this case, the Eshelton Foundation. I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. Which is the blog that it's on, takes that down, and you see that that's been taken down. So this is the thought process you go through. You basically ask them, "Hey, I noticed that you deleted this post, and it's kind of an act of censorship, and it suppresses a valid criticism." And something that's appropriate to help take away the negative allegations that come with it. Which would get the response of, "The post featured a genuinely dangerous thought. Whoever thinks about the idea is sufficient detail will suffer." So they're basically saying, if you talk about this, you're gonna cause some sort of mental or emotional damage to somebody else who comes upon it. And then your thought is going to be, "I highly doubt that. It's more like you're trying to hide something, or the idea you can't disavow it, so that you don't like the repercussions of that, or you're planning something that you didn't want that person to reveal." Which will come back with the amount of suffering that has happened because of this completely outweighs the plausibility of those claims. Basically saying, well, the effects the ends justify the means, is less people are gonna be mentally fucked up for this. Less people are gonna get a mind fuck, so that's a better possibility over that. Which you'll come back with, "I get that, but other people might figure out a way of dealing with that, and they basically they can outweigh those negatives with the positives that they come up with their own mind, and it's kind of like a high utility outcome, and is more probable than stuff that's based on empirical evidence or the tangible." And it just keeps going back and forth on, well, we show other things on here. Just because we get rid of one topic isn't a big deal. Okay, well, how can I figure out how to word that? Or how can they figure out how to word that so that they don't come in by accident and start looking into this before they realize, oh god, I'm fucked. And then they come back with, well, you have to be a big brain to understand that, and most people are smooth brains. Yeah, but there are a lot of people out there, and there are a lot of people that have read this. I've read it, and what if they already know how to implicate or implement the information that's already given for the positives? And they come back with, just think about something else. Take my word for it. I'm a big brain person. You're a smooth brain, so shut the fuck up. You're an asshole. And because of that, and the way you're reacting, a normal person would look at this and would say, if you're right, and it's being taken seriously, there are certain actions that should be implied with that. And if that was an accurate way of dealing with the situation, it might just have fucked everybody, and now, because it's taboo, everybody else is going to go talk about it. So either I trust you, who I don't know, or think about the idea on my own and find other discussion. And other ways to talk about it openly. Which is what happens. So, here's two options, and you tell me what's more likely. Humans, even the really smart ones, are flawed, have evil in them, or make negative choices, or that this kind of hypothesis goes on a long chain of conjunctive reasoning that could be true. And two, making decisions solely on those claims of large amounts of expected value, either negative or positive, leads to absurd consequences and extreme reactions. Meaning, because you thought that the claims would have a huge negative effect, you deleted the topic, which has now made it worse and spread it to everybody else. That's basically how it went and how it goes when you talk about how this comes about. It's just the level of mindfuckery, and this is coming from me. I'm going to say this of my own accord, and I don't care. Literally, when I was researching this and just looking at the basics of it, my mind melted so much, I had to go take a fucking nap before the stream.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted from trying to figure out what the fuck this all means so I can break it down Barney style for you guys so you can kind of understand what the hell is happening.
Yeah. And basically what it is Yudkowsky's a dick.
Yeah.
He's just an asshole who really didn't think about the consequences. He just didn't like being challenged with his theories.
Yeah. He didn't like that this came about in respect to something he put out saying, bro, your shit doesn't make any sense, and this is why. He didn't like that. He's like one of those big brain motherfuckers that's playing 8D chess going, I know better than you, and then somehow you fucking JoJo the situation and take over. And they just lose their mind. It's goddamn... It's ridiculous. It's really... This guy's a pompous asshole in the truest sense. And for a pause, hi Remy, hi Mike, and hello Mystic. Glad you guys can come and see the mindfuckery and listen to me trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah, it's actually kind of fun because I get to see the absolute whatever you'd call it, the fucking of your mind.
The mind fucking. You get to watch the mind fucking unfold.
Yes.
Because obviously I'm new to this. I didn't hear about this until QAR brought this up. And then I went to look at it and I'm like, I'm a fucking smooth brain. What is this? I don't understand. And I generally think of myself as a pretty intelligent person. But if I'm reading this as a generally intelligent person and going, I stupid, I no understand. Mongo no understand. This is some big brain fucking 8D chess shit. Now...
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You were saying that there were other theories that were brought up because of this particular thought experiment. Do you want to kind of share with us exactly what those are?
Yeah, let's see. Let me pull them up real quick. Um, like there's a few others, which was, I think you already went. Did you go into timeless decision theory?
Yes.
Okay, we went into that.
I went through
Uh,
timeless decision. I went through the casual decision theory, and then I went through the unchangeable.
Coherent extrapolated volition.
Yes, I went through that as
You
well.
all right? And then I went through Pascal's Wager.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You were saying something
I
about a particular, like, what was it called? You were saying something about this really deep rooted theory of how to deal with it. What was it called? Um,
um, oh, fuck. I'm trying to think of it.
the one you said I could do my whole fucking show on if I wanted to.
Fuck. Oh, no, that's going into the okay. So that's not really more of one of how to deal with it. This is going outside of
Oh, okay.
their it goes outside of their theoretics and actually goes into the reality of the danger of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is what some people on Less Wrong have done. They've brought up a few um, while Eliza hates conspiracy theories, and he doesn't like them to be on his precious Less Wrong. Screw this guy, I really hate him.
Uh, tell
um,
me how you really feel.
yeah, no, he's fucking annoying. Jesus, like he won't accept anything. But um, people start going into conspiracy theories to sort of go into the reality of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and there's also like uh, like basic human need to uh, sort of improve upon technology.
Yeah.
Um, like so, as long as humans need to improve technology, like your phone's going to get old, you're going to want a new one someday that's much
Yeah.
faster. Um, People are going to want that with things like AI, which is why you will typically see the argument of, well, if everybody can unanimously agree not to develop this, that's a problem that we come into when we talk about AI development, because people are going to constantly want to improve upon AI. They're not going to want to be stuck in one generation.
Ooh, let's give a good example here. Tesla cars. They went
Yes,
from completely manual and now they're starting to be autonomous. They're starting to be able to, you don't have to even do anything for them to drive and go
which
somewhere.
is
Now,
funny that you brought it up, because remember what I told you about Grimes and
yeah.
Elon?
Let me finish my thought process though.
All right.
This is what this makes this completely palatable for me. Now, it's fucking awesome that we don't have to drive our own goddamn cars. We can do other shit while the car is driving us certain places. All you gotta do is type in the address, make sure it's the right one, press a button, and like you do with like Google Maps, and go. You could do a bunch of stuff like you can play video games while the car is going. You could have sex while the car is going, which is one that everybody brings up. I'm not joking. However, here comes the counter argument. They're gonna patch that a lot to iron out bugs, increases, like they do with games and everything else. They bring out updates. Now, how many updates are we going to have until that car decides, fuck this human, I'm going to drive him off a cliff?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of scary how that could actually happen. It actually could, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, and it gets even weirder Um, when so in trying to research this, my familiarity is in the reality of the situation of the
Mm-hmm.
basilisk. So while also making sure that I had my notes and shit, I told you these. I had some weird shit going on.
Oh yeah.
Um, I have fucking Google Fiber gigabit internet, and for some reason, only with me, whenever I'm trying to like do research on this subject or bring up my topics, the internet just wants to go down on me. Just completely shut down. But and especially when I was actually running a connection which a few other people did, but not to the maybe I don't know if they did it to this degree, but with Mariana's web, which is what I was saying, you could make
That's the
another.
one that I was
Yeah,
thinking of. Yeah.
yes. So Mariana's web, the deep web, obviously.
Yes.
And how it used to be used for the military.
Yes.
Well, and only the military and some colleges, but that's
And porn.
a difference. And porn.
Porn comes through everything. If you think it doesn't, you're naive.
Yeah, but anyway, so back in the early days of the internet, um, they the CIA wanted to try and develop a a sort of equation, which would actually be kind of the precursor to an AI, um, to help them better predict crimes and where they would happen and who would do them, stuff like that. They didn't have a word for it, but that's basically what an AI is. It's a bunch of equations
It's
that
an
does
algorithm.
yeah, it's an algorithm, and an algorithm is a bunch of equations that does a thing for you,
Yeah. You press a
or
button
for
and shit
itself.
happens.
So the theory is that Mariana's web is not only the deepest part of a of the internet that nobody's ever been to, except for maybe in this theory the CIA, but it's also a super intelligent AI that's able to record everything that we see on the internet to gather the information to perfectly like map out what it's going to do, mostly with crime solving
Yeah.
and predictions of that. Um, and so when you get into that, the reality of the basilisk gets a little more interesting. Um, and me, a few others have kind of brought that up. Um, and then one person in particular actually brought up something along the lines of, well, because the theory goes that the basilisk, if it's powerful enough to recreate history, which Roko is saying that it is, um, then what's to say that it's not smart enough to say make a simulation,
Mm-hmm.
which is where the whole simulation theory comes in that
Yeah.
the a few people have theorized that we're already in the basilisk, and it's and maybe dead already, and it's just determining if you're a threat or not.
Yeah. Now, I kind of just looked this up just to kind of see what happened, but here's an apparent example of this. Um, some guy on Reddit hired somebody named with the username 450W, and he was supposed to be making a simple website, but he didn't realize until he got paid, or he got like some sort of information on it, he was gonna get paid 50 grand a week, which is way above what you get paid. obviously he's gonna say I'm gonna do it. Because 50 grand a week, fuck yeah, I'll take it. For almost 8 weeks, that's awesome. I'm gonna take it. And after the 8 weeks or so for this guy, he kind of had some weird doubts on why would we be paid this much for a simple website. He was working on a private network, and he has limited access to the site. And for some reason, he was able to download a video. Let me pull this up. I'm actually going to pull this up for everybody. And apparently this is what he got. Let's do this. Stream media. Let me stream this to you as well so you can see it. This was just me being fucking weird, deciding I wanted to go see what I'd find. Okay, you see it, right?
Yep, hold on. Let me just... There we go. Alright.
This is apparently what he saw. Which I don't like already. I don't like this. It's like this weird 7 days what the fuck is that?
What the fuck is that? Oh, we both did that the same.
Okay, I have to be weird. This is really fucking weird. I saw this picture earlier today. Or a picture of this earlier today. Somebody posted it on Twitter. I think it was Miss London. She's the one that posted this and made a comment about body positivity because of this. And now I'm kind of getting weirded out. I'm a little weirded out. A little bit. That can't be fucking real. What is this geisha shit? Is this gonna be a jump scare?
I've seen this. Okay.
I don't like it. This is apparently attached to this.
Oh, I remember hearing about this code.
Yeah, there's a translation for it on the website I found this on, so I'll get to that once we've finished watching it, but that's some weird fucking binary shit, if this is legitimate. It might just be a fucking creepypasta. This is what it says. Once you get in you can never escape. Never try to enter. This is where you stop. Once you killed the drop. And apparently that's unfinished. We are not alone. There is no afterlife. Leave them alone. None of this is real. Earth is not real. Living is not real. Death is not real. I am God.
Maybe that's the Basilisk.
It could be. Because basilisks are described as dragon-like.
Yeah. And almost... Because basically, I mean, the AI we're talking about is pretty much its own... It's a god that we manufactured.
Exactly. And because we work so... Again, we want to make something better, so we work on it so much that it far surpasses the need of us. It's going to make itself better. And then, what is the positive benefit of having us here still?
Yeah. And there was actually an immediately thrown away theory that someone did make of what if we made an AI so advanced that it wanted to kill its creators and then itself. You can see why that was immediately thrown away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we accidentally make a suicidal AI. Yeah, no, if anything, it's definitely going to be harmful to us.
And it looks like it also has a little bit of the alternate reality, or if this is even if our reality is actually reality kind of vibes.
Yeah,
The fuck is
yeah,
right, Remy?
and that is where the whole connecting
The
Roko's,
Matrix.
yeah,
We're all in the fucking
bas-
Matrix.
basically. So, and even um I mean, Elon Musk actually goes into it. Um, if you listen to him about how we're probably in a simulation, and he also connects that to Roko's Basilisk. Um, but you know, typically when he is mentioning the Basilisk, he they have like Vice and a few others that he's interviewed. He usually has them leave that out
Yeah.
for good reason.
Yeah. It's just that this whole thing is it's mindfuck because you're already seeing it in real time. Things are getting smarter. Your phone can predict what you think you're gonna say next, or it's gonna predict the next word in a sentence for you. Weird.
Yeah. And I mean, just everything involved in Roko's Basilisk is just absolutely like the theories that everyone gets into. Like, we actually only, I'll be super honest, I've been spending a lot of time on the Basilisk, and when you said you were going to bring it up, I started researching into the theories.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you found this, but as it turns out, we've only scratched the surface with all the theories
Oh,
that people
absolutely.
have developed.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and it gets worse and worse. But then you get into the reality of the situation that people get into, and it gets even worse.
Oh yeah. It's a rabbit
Um,
hole of mindfuckery.
yeah, I mean, Kyle Hill even did something on this, and he wasn't able to like, I think you actually can find it right there. Yeah, if you go back to the search, it's the one in the middle. Kyle Hill's segment on Roko's Basilisk. Um, he brings up the thing on on just unanimously agreeing all to not develop AI.
Yeah.
That's his end result for the whole thing.
The only thing you could do is either you make the AI to make things easier for you, or which would put you in danger of Rogo's Basilisk coming about, or you can decide not to do that and things stay the way they are or regress technologically.
Yeah, and then there was actually something someone brought up, and I told you about this one that's kind of fucking stupid and hilarious, but it's um, kind of what again uh, Musk and Grimes tried to do, which is give your baby a very stupid name so that the AI doesn't find them
Yeah,
because
because yeah, go ahead, explain it.
oh, so basically there are certain names in this world, like you can't use at signs or symbols, and in some countries you can't use numbers too. But basically there's these certain names that you can't name your child, just because if they try and put that into the system, your child will never show up on a computer or in any like that's basically what I just said, actually. Computer. I don't know
Yeah,
why I was repeating myself.
exactly. Basically, if you use those kind of things, when the AI shows up, they're not going to be able to pick it up because they can't read it. Supposedly.
Yeah, but I honestly believe that at some point, um, we're gonna get to use fucking emojis to name our children. And
No.
just think, I named my child Heart Eyes,
No, I don't want any of that. Fuck
and
all of that.
the system just picks it up.
I don't like it. I think that's dumb.
I think that's worse than the basilisk.
Yeah,
Like, just fucking kill me
just
already.
murder me. Yeah, murder me.
Yeah. Hold on. I had.
I'm just looking at how people would go over this. Oh, you were saying something about Silicon Valley being the best example of this.
Um. Oh, Google and Silicon Valley. Um. Were they're like the biggest factors in AI research. So even if Mariana's web, if that AI is not true, like, which I'm going to be honest, I have a lot of reason to believe that it kind of is true because you look at what police are able to do nowadays and what the CIA can do nowadays with solving crimes. Um, but even if it wasn't true and the CIA didn't have a super intelligent AI, Google is still a large factor because they are like the number one they're the number one source for AI development.
Yeah.
And not just Google Assistant. They actually do have if you look at the Google X research facility, they make different things. They've actually made a few bits of equipment for military um, that are specifically for Air Force. And they also say that they have some systems that they'll be coming out with for other government agencies like, detectives or anything along those lines.
Yeah.
And they've been very headstrong with development. And just with that in place, it kind of just brings more light to the possibility of the basilisk rearing its head
Yeah.
out within, I would say, the next 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. I mean, some people would say that seems too soon, but with the development that people have been able to do with AI and with technology in general, um, 5 to 10 is actually probably it might even be closer, to be honest. Um, that's just my crapshoot.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up. There are some really creepy robot examples. I'm trying to find them.
Oh, Google's trying to develop a factory on the moon.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird. That is really weird.
Yeah, that uh Google, and now they're called X Development. Um
Oh, I found it. I found something. Okay. Here's an example of this. Let's bring that up. Because this is kind of interesting. This is basically a robot that functions, or is supposed to function, the way a soldier would.
Oh, this is,
the Corridor Digital stuff, yeah.
It's Corridor Digitals, but the thing is that this is part of their look at AI for the future.
Yeah.
And there's actually a targeting system that the military has bought that involves guns that can control your barrel, pretty much.
See how that's fucking crazy. They're beating the shit out of it. They're fucking around with it, and it's still hitting the target dead on first try.
Yeah. Now this is Corridor's parody.
Yeah, but
it's still actually very close to what Google has developed, because they've already.
Yeah.
Because Google, what they have developed is an actual targeting system.
Yeah.
And it's used in guns, and if I remember correctly, Google has one that it's a computer that actually fits inside of a bullet that can curve the bullet around for you.
There we go, Boston Dynamics, that's what it is.
Yeah, Boston Dynamics.
Yeah. These are supposed to be robot dogs. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, they're really, really crazy. I kind of like them, though. They're kind of cool.
Yeah, but like when you look at this stuff and you think about the whole Roko's Basilisk thing, it just becomes more and more real.
Yeah, and I think recently Boston has had, with these guys, with the four-legged ones, they have they're actually trying to mount weaponry on them now, and combine that with Google's targeting system.
Like, this stuff is so weird.
Yeah. And it's not real, and it's kind of funny because, people have always had this paranoia about computers.
Yeah.
But then over time, the paranoia of computers actually started to halt. Like because there's a history of the paranoia of computers and AI. And then about around the time that Roko's Basilisk came out, that paranoia about AI and computers just shot up immediately.
It's like the Skynet thing.
Yeah, it's a lot like Skynet.
This is just the level of weird this gets.
Yeah, it's a crazy
let's see
rabbit hole of
I'm just gonna skip through it because we'll be here all day if we're watching all of that. It's getting itself up.
Yeah. That's how far we've gotten so far. And actually, originally, these robots used to have to be cable mounted.
Yeah.
And they no longer have to do that.
Yeah. These are running completely free.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I haven't seen these two-wheeled ones before, but now I am.
I don't like that.
Amazon has these ones that are actually kind of cute, not gonna lie. that carry storage containers around. Wow, that was a jump.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I believe. Anything's called love. Sorry.
You're fine.
But let me see if I can pull it.
You did a fucking backflip.
Let's see.
This is just fucking ridiculous. Like, if you didn't think that this shit had any merit, looking at this, I would think you'd change your mind. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and you know Boston Dynamics is a Google company now.
I'm not surprised.
Because they're using Google's AI to improve all their...
Fucking insanity.
Yeah, they're using Google's AI to improve their robots. And so since Google is developing a combat AI,
Great.
that can be implemented into these robots for... Yeah.
Some Battlestar Galactica shit.
Honestly, it's scary, but it's also like, you know that there's some gamer guys out there and gals who are like, fuck yeah!
Maybe we could fuck them.
Oh my god. Everybody wants to find a way to fuck something.
Well, yeah. Because that's how we are as human beings.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, in all honesty, I completely believe this is possible. Because we're the ones that are seeing it. In real time.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking at where the internet started, it's been, what? Less than, 30 years since the internet started? 40 years, maybe?
Yeah, and
Look where we're at.
It started out as military communication.
With those massive freaking towers of, servers that they needed to use in order to run something, and now you've got something as our PCs, a laptop, a Game Boy, a phone.
Oh, yeah. Everything is Zoom.
Yeah. All of this makes this, seeing it happen, makes it seem more plausible. Period.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary. Maybe not in our lifetime, but really soon, we could possibly be facing the Basilisk.
Yeah. And
how far do we want to go?
And then there's still those other theories of are we in a simulation?
Yeah.
And is that simulation run by the Basilisk?
Exactly.
These robots, could they be run by it? And the more you talk about it, the more in danger you put yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could be like me and you could be like, well, then I get to be an example for others.
Yep.
If I die, I die.
That's true.
I have no reason to fear death anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of come to grips after looking at this for so long.
Yeah. And I think I was able to handle it because I've already had
you had the existential crisis.
Well, I've already had a death experience that just sort of wiped out all existential crises for me.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, at this point, I know what it feels like, and so I don't care.
Death is inevitable.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Which is fun. That's a story for personal...
That's a personal story we're not going to share on here, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have had that something similar to whatever you've had, and I'm just like, it's going to happen. Fuck it.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where my fight against the basilisk is that I'm not afraid. At this point, I'm not afraid to die. And I definitely after that will not ever be afraid to die.
Well, yeah, because you'll be dead
Um,
already. You're not Jesus, so you're not gonna get resurrected on the third day.
yeah. Sorry to
It's
spoil it for any of my homies. Jesus dies in the book, and but it's also fictional.
yeah, I guess so, but we're not gonna get into that.
No, we're not.
I don't think there's a whole lot more we could go over on this because we're just be going in circles and treading on the same thing.
Yeah.
But
Plus, we're at 69 minutes. Ah, fuck, we're at 70.
yeah, we're in there. We're in the shit now. Um,
Yeah,
but
but I think
yeah,
we covered everything.
this is like when you get into the weird of it, and this is only scratching the surface, just like QAR said. It's the surface. We haven't even gotten to the juicy shit yet.
Yeah, there's literally every bit that Rogo's Basilisk revolves around could be another live in and of itself.
Yep.
So if we really, really wanted, like this segment absolutely needed to just be about the basilisk.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to do anything else, we literally need to like thoroughly plan that out.
Yeah. But I think this is basically what we have in the basics of Roko's Basilisk and what exactly it entails, along with examples of it actually occurring in this reality, if you want to call it reality. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You want to say goodbye to the audience, QAR?
Sure. Thank you for joining us tonight. You can see me on
Yep.
Twitter.
Plug away.
Shit. Yeah. I was just waiting for the go-to.
Plug
you
away,
can see
man.
me. You can see me on Twitter, QAR Twit. You can find me on YouTube, Queen Anne's Revival. Hopefully, I will be like coming out with some shit. College, and
Yeah,
all that.
life's a bitch, and then you
Yeah,
die.
yeah, pretty much. But please feel free to join my crazy adventures.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us for the mindfuckery and sweet nightmares.